Well, of course, this is a very historic verdict in that former Prime Minister of Malaysia has been convicted of various charges, such as abusing power of his office, such as money laundering, as well as criminal breach of trust. And hopefully, with this sort of conviction, Malaysia could now move on to try to clean up, for example, its government sector, and thereby moving really towards a developed country status.
You worked closely with the Prime Minister. Was there any suspicion about his corruption while he was in office?
Well, when I was working for him for the first 2 years of his prime ministerial administration, I think the attention was on, for example, various so-called economic and government transformation programs. And even 1MDB was supposedly created as a special purpose vehicle to try to push forward some of these transformation programs. I think later on, for example, it might have deviated from its original purpose, and then it went on to become a politically convenient conveyancing vehicle.
Yeah, in fact, he's accused of receiving about $680 million US from that one MDB development fund that you talk of. That's out of $3.5 billion that's been misappropriated. Do we know where has that gone, and how much of a setback has this been for the country economically?
Well, the money has gone around the world to various, for example, offshore tax and various other havens in some islands and so on. I think the Malaysian government, in cooperation with various other authorities, including Australian ones, trying to track down some of those money. Well, this money were actually, most of them at least, they were actually loans from various financial institutions, but guaranteed or backed by the Malaysian government's sovereign power. So, in a sense, it indebts the Malaysian government for the amounts that you described just now. And now that with the pandemic and various other economic slowdowns, this money, of course, would have been put to rather good use.
And in your view, what are the implications for the current Prime Minister, who is in coalition with Najib's party?
Well, very ironically, 5 years ago, exactly this day, the current Prime Minister, at that time the Deputy Prime Minister, was fired by none other than Najib for questioning Najib's involvement in 1MDB. So, of course, the current Prime Minister, just like the opposition, would, in their various ways, claim that this vindicated the allegations all these years that money were misappropriated from 1MDB for other purposes other than public ones. So it would, in a sense, stand the present Prime Minister, Mr. Muhyiddin, in good stead in the eyes of the voters, but by the same token, also the opposition. So I think they do not have a net gain in terms of this series of convictions.
Now, this is just one of 5 trials that the former Prime Minister faces. What else is he going to be tried for?
Well, I think there are various other, for example, up to 42 charges regarding misappropriation of funds from some other subsidiaries of 1MDB, the sovereign funds, in conjunction also with several other alleged accomplices, such as Mr. Jolo and so on, who are still at large. Yeah.
Dr. Oe San, thank you very much for joining us this evening.
Thank you.